Lovely viewers, welcome back to the channel that brings you the most heartfelt, revealing, and emotional updates from the world of Korean celebrities you love. As always, thank you for joining us today. What you're about to hear is not just a news report, it's a journey, a deeply emotional, honest, and soul-touching story from the life of one of Korea's most cherished icons, Hye Kyo. So grab a warm cup of tea, get comfortable, and prepare to feel every emotion as we dive into this heart-rending moment. Hye Kyo in tears, crying out the words, "I'm too old to be a mother." It all began with whispers, soft and barely audible, making their way through the grapevine of Seoul's tight-knit entertainment circle. Was Hye Kyo expecting? Had she finally stepped into motherhood after years of public silence on the topic? Rumors flew, social media buzzed, and fans were divided between hopeful joy and concerned skepticism. Yet no one knew the truth until now. In a private, exclusive interview meant only for close friends and staff members, a clip of Hye Kyo surfaced where she broke down in tears. Her words echoed through the room, heavy with emotion. "I'm too old to be a mother." Her voice cracked and her eyes shimmered with tears, not just of sadness, but of the burden she's been carrying alone for far too long. Those 7 words pierced the hearts of millions who have watched her grow, loved her through dramas, and rooted for her happiness. What does it mean to feel too old to be a mother? Is it the physical strain, the social pressure, or is it something far deeper? An internalized fear shaped by time, missed chances, and silent sacrifices. Lovely viewers, this isn't just about age. This is about a woman standing at the intersection of fame and femininity, bearing the weight of societal expectations while still aching for something so simple, yet so profound: motherhood. Hye Kyo, now in her early 40s, has been in the public eye since she was a teenager. Her youth was sold to the screen, her beauty immortalized through camera lenses, her talent applauded, but her private life, guarded like a fortress. She's dated, loved, lost, and grieved. The world watched her rise, fall, and rise again. And through it all, one thing remained constant. She rarely let her guard down. But in that one moment, in that one quiet room, she let it all out. A staff member who was present during the interview shared that Hye Kyo had been feeling immense emotional weight over the past few months. It was a blend of joy and anxiety. On one hand, she was exploring the idea of motherhood with her current partner, someone she deeply trusts and loves. On the other, she was haunted by the ticking of time. And when medical conversations began, fertility checks, consultations, and tests, the stark medical reality hit her like a freight train. One insider revealed that she had recently received test results indicating that her chances of natural conception were drastically low. Though not impossible, the road ahead would be uncertain, possibly involving IVF, hormonal treatments, and months of emotional toll. It was after receiving this news that she uttered those painful words. Not for the media, not for a script, but for herself. "I'm too old to be a mother." She wasn't making a public statement. She was grieving, questioning, and feeling all the emotions that society often silences in women past a certain age. But oh, how wrong society can be. Lovely viewers, as you know, motherhood doesn't come with a stopwatch. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't abide by societal norms or timelines. Yet, for celebrities like Hye Kyo, the pressure is magnified. When you're constantly under the lens, every wrinkle, every gray hair, and every life choice becomes a headline. And yet, behind the glitz and glamour is a woman who still longs for late-night lullabies, baby giggles, and tiny hands grasping her fingers. You might be wondering, what triggered this emotional outburst now? Why is she speaking out? Why now? Insiders say it's because Hye Kyo recently began filming a new project centered around a woman struggling with fertility. The role was deeply personal, echoing much of her own internal battle. As the cameras rolled, art began to imitate life in the most vulnerable way. It was during one of the breaks between scenes that she found herself overcome by emotion. She clutched her script, closed her eyes, and softly said to one of her closest crew members, "This could have been me. This is me." And then the tears flowed. For the first time in years, the facade broke. And it was in that moment that everyone around her realized the strength it takes to keep smiling while carrying a burden so personal, so deeply tied to identity and self-worth. Motherhood, or the absence of it, has long been a silent struggle for many women, especially those in the public eye. The truth is, Hye Kyo is not alone in this. Thousands of women across the world, regardless of fame or fortune, grapple with the same fears, the same heartbreaks. But what makes her story so impactful is her courage to whisper those feelings out loud. She didn't hide behind euphemisms. She didn't downplay it. She named the feeling. She sat with it. And she cried. Her partner, whose name we are choosing not to reveal at this time out of respect for their privacy, has reportedly been nothing but supportive. A close source said that he told her, "We'll try together. We'll hope together. And no matter what, you are enough." These words became her anchor. A tiny glimmer of hope amid the waves of doubt. Still, hope is a fragile thing when your body feels like it's fighting against your dreams. Interestingly, fans recently spotted her at a fertility wellness center in Seoul, dressed in a low-key outfit, wearing a mask and sunglasses. She wasn't alone. She had a companion with her, someone believed to be her partner or a close friend. Her visit sparked waves of speculation, but those who saw her described her as quiet, focused, and perhaps a bit emotionally distant, as if carrying something too large to fit into words. But even in the face of these challenges, our queen remains resilient. One fan posted online, "I saw her that day. She looked tired but strong, like someone who's been through storms and still chooses to walk forward." And that, dear viewers, is the heart of this story. Song Hye Kyo is not giving up. Despite her tears, despite the odds, despite feeling too old, she is daring to dream. And now the question arises, will she become a mother? Is there a path forward for her? The medical world has advanced tremendously, and many women are becoming mothers in their 40s and even 50s. But the emotional toll remains. Song Hye Kyo knows this. She's read every article, consulted every specialist, and still some nights she cries herself to sleep, wondering if the world will ever hear her child call her mom. There's something sacred about a woman's yearning for motherhood. It goes beyond biology. It's about nurture, love, the creation of legacy. Song Hye Kyo, who has given so much to the world through her art, now dreams of giving love in its purest form, to a child of her own. Fans have flooded her social media with support. Messages like, "You're never too old if your heart is young," and "We believe in your journey" are filling her posts. Some mothers even shared their own stories of having children at 43, 45, and even later. One touching message read, "I became a mother at 46. If I can do it, so can you, Hye Kyo." In response, though she hasn't made any official public statements, she did post a cryptic image, a photo of a small knitted baby shoe, with a caption, "Still hoping." It was enough to make the internet cry. That one post has since become one of her most liked and commented posts ever, with fans across the globe sharing messages of hope and encouragement. Song Hye Kyo's story isn't over. Whether she becomes a mother through natural birth, IVF, surrogacy, adoption, or simply through love and mentorship, one thing is certain. Her heart is big enough, strong enough, and beautiful enough to nurture another soul. Lovely viewers, we invite you to share your love and support in the comments. If you've ever struggled with similar feelings, let this space be a place of healing. If you're a fan, let your voice remind her that she's not too old. She's just right for this journey, for this dream, for this life. Because being a mother isn't defined by a number. It's defined by love. And Song Hye Kyo has plenty of that to give. Stay tuned because we'll keep you updated with every step of her journey. Whatever path she chooses, let's walk it with her together. As days passed following her vulnerable confession, the world didn't move on quickly. Not this time. The story of Song Hye Kyo quietly weeping those unforgettable words, "I'm too old to be a mother," kept echoing in countless hearts. Every time her name appeared on social media, fans paused. Not just to admire her beauty or her timeless grace, but to check in, to whisper softly in the comments, "We see you, we love you, and we believe in you." She hadn't posted anything new for several days. It was unlike her. A woman usually so poised, professionally scheduled, and attentive to her fans, had gone quiet. Many began to worry, was she okay? Was she retreating because of the overwhelming attention? Or was she simply taking time to be with herself and process everything? The silence was profound, but it wasn't empty. It was filled with compassion from the fans who refused to move on and chose instead to hold space for her healing. During that time, media outlets reached out to her agency for comments. They declined politely, stating that Song Hye Kyo was taking some personal time and appreciates the warmth of her fans. It was a rare moment when even the gossip-hungry media showed restraint, delicately stepping back, as if the gravity of her pain demanded reverence. In truth, Song Hye Kyo was not hiding. She was healing. She had taken a quiet trip to Jeju Island, one of her favorite places to escape the spotlight. A local cafe owner discreetly shared that she had visited alone, sitting by the window with a journal in her hand and tears in her eyes. She didn't speak much. She ordered green tea, sat by the ocean view, and wrote for hours. The staff, recognizing her but respecting her space, said she smiled once when a child walked past her table holding a balloon. That moment, they said, felt like a scene from a drama. But this wasn't fiction. This was a real woman sitting with her reality. Hurting, hoping, healing. Meanwhile, the online fan community had turned into something much bigger than anyone expected. What started as a conversation about Song Hye Kyo's fears transformed into a global support network for women of all ages grappling with similar emotions. The hashtag #StillTimeForLove started trending, with thousands of people sharing their own late motherhood journeys, fertility struggles, and stories of finding joy and purpose outside traditional timelines. One comment that received tens of thousands of likes read, "Song Hye Kyo's words opened a wound I didn't even know I still carried. I never had children. I always thought it was too late. But now, I might still try. Or maybe I'll find new ways to nurture and love. Because love doesn't expire." And that's the energy that began surrounding Hye Kyo. Some fan groups organized virtual support circles where women shared their stories through tears and laughter, inspired by her vulnerability. Others made donations to women's health organizations in her name, as a gesture of love and solidarity. It wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It had become a movement. All the while, Song Hye Kyo stayed silent, but not still. Insiders revealed she was exploring fertility options seriously. Yes, the tests had been discouraging. Yes, the doctors had spoken gently but truthfully about the challenges. But something inside her refused to give up. She began researching IVF clinics not just in South Korea, but across the world. From Tokyo to Zurich, she opened herself to the possibility that the journey ahead might be long, but not impossible. She also reached out to two female friends in the industry who had gone through IVF in their 40s. One of them shared publicly, though without naming Hye Kyo, that a dear friend recently asked me about the emotional toll of IVF. I told her the truth. It's exhausting. But I also told her it's worth it. Because when your dream means that much to you, no price feels too high. Those words felt like a window into Song Hye Kyo's current emotional world. She had passed the stage of crying in fear. Now, she was quietly arming herself with knowledge, courage, and hope. And while she considered IVF, another door quietly opened: adoption. She had long been a supporter of children's welfare. Over the years, she donated to various child welfare organizations and even visited orphanages and schools during her international trips. But now, for the first time, she allowed herself to imagine not just visiting a child, but bringing one home. She reportedly told a close confidant, "I don't need to see my eyes in a child. I just need to see their smile. That's enough for me to know they're mine." That one sentence was enough to stir tears among those closest to her. Because in that moment, she released herself from the prison of biological limitation. She embraced love as the only requirement. And what about her partner? Let's talk about him again, because his role in her healing cannot be overstated. He's said to be deeply private, not a part of the entertainment world, and someone who values silence over spectacle. A man of few words but steady actions. Someone who, according to friends, began attending medical appointments with her, who took notes, who asked questions, who held her hand in the parking lot afterward, silently letting her cry without rushing her grief. This man, sources say, has whispered to her more than once, "Whatever path we take, I'm walking it with you." And she believes him. They've reportedly started looking at homes outside the city. Not because they're moving anytime soon, but because Song Hye Kyo dreams of raising a child with space. With grass beneath their feet. With a garden. With skies big enough for dreams to fly. She's even begun designing a nursery. Quietly, privately, one sketch at a time. And just days ago, an eagle-eyed fan caught a glimpse of a new bracelet on her wrist. Engraved with a single word. Someday. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't for press. But fans knew exactly what it meant. It was her promise to herself. Someday I will love without fear. Someday I will wake up to tiny feet pattering on wooden floors. Someday I will hold a child in my arms, and in that moment, I will know that every tear, every test, every lonely night was worth it. And lovely viewer, that someday feels closer now than ever before. Her next drama project is said to be on pause, perhaps indefinitely, not because of scandal, not because of career burnout, but because she wants to focus on this new chapter. Her team confirmed she's taking time to reassess her goals, and for once, her goals don't include awards or scripts. They include family, and purpose. Even the industry has taken note. A well-known producer commented in an interview, "If Song Hye Kyo decides to step away from the screen, she leaves behind a legacy. But more importantly, she builds a life. And that's the most powerful role she'll ever play." Now fans are rallying behind her in more ways than ever. They're planning a Mother's Hope Day campaign, a digital celebration where people will post photos, letters, art, and stories dedicated to women who dream of being mothers in their own time, in their own way. Song Hye Kyo's name will be at the center, not as a symbol of sorrow, but as a beacon of bravery. Because she reminded the world that it's okay to cry for what you want. And it's even more okay to keep wanting it. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is certain. Song Hye Kyo is no longer defined by age, roles, or rumors. She is defined by love. A love so fierce, so tender, so wide, that it can hold 1,000 hopes, and still make room for more. So, lovely viewer, if you are watching this and you have a dream that feels too late, hear this, it's not. If your heart still beats with longing, then time is still on your side. Like Song Hye Kyo, you are allowed to cry. You are allowed to doubt. But you are also allowed to hope. Loudly. Unapologetically. Completely. The road ahead for her may not be smooth. There may be setbacks. There may be more tears. But now she's no longer crying alone. You're with her, we're with her, the world is with her. And perhaps one day soon she will hold that child in her arms, kiss their forehead, and whisper the words she once feared. "I thought I was too old to be a mother." But love arrived right on time.